Hey everybody, it's Sunrider and welcome back to Sunrider Liberation Day, the Return chapter. Right then, last we left off, I was faced with a very difficult decision, which was either shooting Chigara and thereby preventing the Liberation Day massacre, or not shooting her and effectively allowing, knowing the consequences, well, the short term, but not necessarily long term and overall lore effects. But basically knowing the massacre would occur, and in that sense writing the death warrants of every single individual killed by it and who would be killed in the aftermath that ensued. So after thinking about it, not really this the whole first choice thing is really what the issue is, because I'm just going to go back and do the other one regardless, just to see what'll fucking happen. This is just me deciding what I would want to do the first time, and it was not easy, because both of these suck. Chigara did not intentionally infiltrate. Geth did not intentionally infiltrate. However, not pulling the trigger, this is really, pragmatism was what it comes down to. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, blah blah blah, you get the picture. Killing Chigara, as awful as it is ultimately saving lives, I think, is a much better choice than letting a bunch of people die just to let one person who is going to get mind controlled live. And she's going to die anyway, so it's not like there's any point. We already know, unless we're going to shoot Fontana too, we already know that she gets killed regardless. So we're going to pull the trigger. Yeah, Chigara! There's lots of dramatics. Shields peeled his eyes open and summoned all the strength in his body, or else he knew he would back out at the last moment. He channeled everything he had within him to his finger and pulled the trigger. The single sharp crack of the rifle echoed through the hall. Chigara took the bullet directly to the head. Shields kept his eyes open. Please don't show Chigara. I don't want to see the aftermath of what I just did here. I don't want to see that either. Did I read that? Shields kept his eyes open. The back of her skull burst open, splattering the floor with her brain and blood. Oh, I didn't need a picture because it paints it so wonderfully. Thank you for the details. She crumpled to the floor, her face contorting with pain. Finally, her face came to rest upon an expression of relief. Alice had finally died, leaving Chigara with just a split second of knowledge that Alice's final desperate plan to destroy all they had accomplished had failed. The light faded from Chigara's eyes as she relished Alice's defeat. With that, Alliance servicemen burst into the room and evacuated the Alliance dignitaries. Blech. Everyone else ran from the room, crouched down and covering their heads, except for their shields, who ran to the stage and cradled Chigara's dead body. The massacre was thwarted. The future was saved. Shields crumpled down to the floor, sobbing. He had succeeded. I did it. And there's a lot more weight behind that than merely the action he just committed. Or changing history necessarily. More than both of them there. I changed history. I won. And yet, he felt nothing but a black void in his heart. Sola embraced him with all her heart, trying to comfort him in his darkest moment. Yes, Captain, you have won. This is our victory. Everyone has been saved. Sola! He sobbed into her shoulder. I killed her. I killed Chigara. And in the end, she was relieved. Shh. You needn't worry about that. I am here, am I not? From now, I shall provide whatever she did. You mustn't cry, Captain. You are my hero. Oh, you are everyone's hero. Shields merely sobbed in horror at what he had just done. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in his situation, given the context, I'd probably be pretty fucked up too. Just in general, I think if you weren't fucked up by that, you might need to be asking yourself some questions. The world around him faded to white. A time paradox now triggered. This universe ended, and a new universe was born in its place. Okay, see, I was waiting for this. I'm very curious to see exactly how this new universe, given the present nature of what's happened here, is going to affect the new Shields. Because we saw how Shields was affected in the Ikari timeline, and that while Chigara was alive and he kind of started a relationship with Ikari. Did I say Ikari was alive or say Chigara was alive? Because I meant Chigara. Fuck it, whatever. With Chigara still alive and in confinement, and him in a relationship with Ikari, things were going along a fairly healthy path, I suppose. Now, however, I'm a little more skeptical. A mostly happy universe where the Liberation Day Massacre did not exist, but also one where Shields never got over the scars he received throughout his desperate mission to liberate Sarah. Oh, okay, well, alright, that happened. I guess now I just go and not kill her and see what happens. And I'm also going to, after that, I'm going to run through, I should probably just skip this. I don't. Or just see if there's anything after this. Oh, alright. Well, anyway. Well, so after this, I'm going to go back and try and do Sola's route from... Route from a non-stealthy perspective, just to see how that affects it. Because this time we tried to be stealthy. Didn't I? I'm pretty sure I tried to be stealthy this time. Well, I'm going to do non-stealthy next time and see how that affects it in comparison. But Shield sat on his bed in his apartment. 5 years had passed since he thwarted the prototype's plan to assassinate Admiral Gray and the Alliance military leaders. And the universe which resulted from his actions, the timeline was as follows. Kato Shields discovered that his chief engineer was a prototype spy thanks to a misplaced holo left by her accomplice, the ship's doctor. He managed to thwart the mass assassination by sniping her dead during the war ceremony, moments before she carried out the attack. While he was briefly detained by the Alliance after he turned himself in, the ensuing investigation uncovered undeniable evidence of Chigara's plot, completely vindicating Shields. In the end, he ended up being the one to receive a medal. Yet, killing Chigara changed Shields forever. Shortly after the restoration of Sarah High Command, Shields transferred himself to a minor desk job, far away from galactic fame. Instead, he lived out the following years as a recluse, never once setting out to space again. Every night, he struggled through nightmares, where he was visited by the rotting corpses of Chigara and his dead sister. Every night, their ghosts reminded him of a single truth, that he had failed to save them. Eventually, he became an insomniac and had to be medicated to be able to function normally. His sole source of comfort was his loving wife, Sola, who vanished from the galactic stage along with him, and endeavored to single-handedly heal his wounds. While Shields fell deeper into depression, she watched over him with nothing but a gentle smile. Every night she stroked his head, until he finally pretended to be asleep. However, seeing Sola trapped in a relationship with him only fueled his guilt. Yet he didn't have the motivation to do something as drastic as kill himself. Instead, he merely felt an enormous numbness. The numbness of no longer having a purpose. For the rest of his life, he would merely wander on, working as a civil servant, picking up their usual paycheck, and grow old as Sola, until they finally disappeared from the face of the planet. Future one with oh, hello, fuckface. Ah, well, looks like you managed to thwart the massacre, but you still mostly screwed up in the end. Good luck, good job, you fucking moron. Because Chigara ended up escaping when you kidnapped her, the ship lost all power, and the warning wasn't relayed to Fontaine in time. If you hadn't shot Chigara at the very end, things would probably have ended exactly the same as the main story. Worse. Try again, this time don't waste time trying to restore the Sunrider's main reactor. Instead, find a way to prevent Alice from assuming control of Chigara during the kidnapping attempt. Then the reactor won't be shut in the first place. Yeah, so find a way to prevent Alice, so I'm assuming that would probably have to be the non-stealthy route. I'm assuming as much, but of course we're going to go first and let the massacre happen. This is fucking awful. No, don't look so fucking happy. Tee, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out, Captain. Okay, time for the shitty route. Well, Can this be much worse? Lots of blood tests. It just can't do. Don't pull the trigger. No. Chigara! Shion's eyes clenched shut. He could not do this. He could not take Chigara's life no matter what may happen to the galaxy. Now I'm curious about Soul's reaction, because if I remember correctly, Sola actually cautioned Shields to not kill her, to let the timeline run as it should have, because of some disagreement with Claude, I believe. Something to do with Claude or some bullshit. Maybe like not creating a new... It's been a while. I've been really busy lately. A voice is echoed in his head. Shh. You have me, Captain. You have your ship, your crew. We're your family. We're your family, Captain. ... You never cried when your sister died. Okay, did I remember this? How the fuck did she know that? I'm actually... Did I point that out? Ellipses. It's alright, Captain. Your secret will be safe with me. I know I'll never be able to replace everything you lost, but I'll always be here for you. Chigara. She may have been a spy, but in the end she loved me just the same. The spy who loved me! It was just her prototypes who caused the massacre, not her. Chigara was just an unwitting pawn, and I cannot kill an innocent, even if that decision will indirectly lead to the death of billions. For that is a moral imperative no captain ought to cross. He put the rifle down and stood. The past is the past, and I'm not going to commit murder to change what happened. It's our existence which define us. If a man gained power to rewrite his past, then he would cease to become human, and I'm still human. No matter how great the tragedies of the past, I have to live with them, so that I may work for a better tomorrow. Shields made his decision. Come on, Sola. We're leaving. We only have seconds until the massacre begins. Sola's eyes flickered with doubt, but she swallowed her regrets and followed Shields out of the ward hall. Understood. Whichever path you take, I shall be beside you. I know. He smiled and took her hand. I'll see you. Yes. We shall meet again. The two of them opened the door out of the hall and stepped into a blinding white void. Everything faded to nothingness as the universe resolved Shield's time change location and returned him to his own timeline. Alright. Skip this shit again. Shields woke up beside his cabin deep within the Tidarian desert. A full month had passed since he arrived here. Ava, Asaga, and Claude were still presumably at Ryovia Prime, trying to acquire a new vessel. They had not heard back from Ikaria since she left for uncivilized space. But he was confident she was doing fine. As for Kriska, news of her arrest had now hit the holonet. She was imprisoned and was to stand trial before a military tribunal. However, her plan was not a total failure, as the mass media shortly thereafter uncovered evidence of the Alliance's plan to destroy Sarah. While the military denied any knowledge of the plot, the Progressive Party now intended to use the testimony which will be uncovered during Kriska's trial to unravel the United Universalist control over the war. In other words, Kriska was at least right about one thing. The Alliance did find the truth of what happened to Sarah. In the end, that may have been the only reason why she turned herself in. Sola appeared on a hoverbike, towing a cart full of clear plastic plating behind her. I returned from my expedition to the settlement. There is still no word on any developments at Ryovia Prime. As such, we should take measures to ensure we can sustain ourselves for the long term. I have acquired these materials to construct a greenhouse next to our cabin, wherein we will be able to grow produce. Sola's planning to settle in here for the long term. She might be right. After all, acquiring a new ship compatible with the center is pretty unlikely. No, I have to keep such thoughts from my head. He had to remain optimistic, but with each passing day, he became more despondent. A second prototype assault carrier was not simply going to fall in their laps. Schultz blinked. What had he been doing out here, standing in the dry desert heat by himself? He vaguely recollected an urgent mission to prevent something, but what? Hey Sola, do you remember something weird happened during your trip, like you lost consciousness for a moment? No? Does your health ail you? Continued exposure to the desert heat could easily lead to momentary loss of consciousness, as well as hallucinations. You should return to the cabin. Alright. He started walking back indoors. Solo must be right. He was constantly sweltering in the heat now. No wonder his memories were becoming murky. However, he looked back and looked at Sola. Somehow, she looked much prettier than he had last remembered. Must be the heat making my hormones all jumpy. Or just naturally admitted the fact that she's fucking hot. I don't know. It's hot out there too, so JW all hot. Ellipses. Well, why do you stare at me so? Because I'm a man and you're the only one out here, and I'm probably going fucking crazy. Also, you're fucking hot, like I just said. I don't know. Ellipses. Also, because... Ship it. Nothing. I'm just glad we could still be together. Yes, as am I. No matter what happens, we'll face it together, Sola. You're just so fucking cute. Understood. I shall see you later. Yeah. See you later, Sola. With that, Shields entered the cabin. Any last memory of his little trip at the time completely wiped from his mind. Normal ending. Still together. Yay. Normal. Oh, fuck right. So in the end, you decided to keep the past exactly the same? After all the work poor old Claude went through to send you back in time. You're really hopeless, Captain. To see a better outcome, find a way to prevent Alice from assuming control of Jagard during the kidnap attempt. That way ship won't fuck with you. Now get to it, your future to change and a godly entertainer. Oh, God to entertain right. Fuck. Anyway. Next time, we'll go back and try Sola's route from a less stealthy approach. And see if that can thwart my inefficiency and just general incompetence. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Just see you next time.